We hear wonderful sounds. What are sounds? Why do we recognize these sounds? Modern science knows that the world outside of us is different than we experience it with our human consciousness. The sensation of a sound has not the slightest similarity with the actual vibration in space. So many organs of our body change this vibration. Multiple transformations are necessary that a human being comes to the conclusion this is music. The original stimulus has undergone so many transformations that any trace of similarity between the first impact on the senses and the last sensation appearing in our consciousness is erased. The wonderful sounds that we recognize and feel can't be found in the same way nowhere in the outer world. Human beings have eyes, ears, nose, mouth and the skin. These sensors are constantly on. They continuously collect data about the outer world. It's a stream of sensory impressions from many different sources that hits our consciousness. These streams flow consciously or unconsciously into our spiritual being. What happens when a stream of impressions hits our consciousness? When impressions collide, they are disordered and chaotic. Impressions are without form, without concept and without context. Unknown and unidentified things create uncertainty. The longer we face the unknown, the more anxious we become. Humans strive for security. This is the original reason for all striving for knowledge. As spiritual beings, we are permanently stimulated by all phenomena in the environment. Without thinking, we could neither identify nor distinguish phenomena. In everyday life, we recognize phenomena instantaneously. Without the intelligent mind working within us, our world would be without form, without concept, and without context. It is through our intelligence that our world comes into being. We distinguish, link, remember, form concepts, imagine and recognize. We are permanently scientists. Thinking is perceiving in the spiritual world. When we think, we are spiritual seers. The world of thoughts is cosmic. This can be illustrated particularly well with the help of mathematics. When mathematicians from all over the world meet at the Congress, they speak the same language. Concepts are precisely defined in mathematics. The concept of a circle is understood by everyone. Any well-educated mathematician can link logically and understand someone else's proof. Truth and error are clearly defined. Communication is possible because everyone is connected to the same spiritual world. How do fallacies come into being? As human beings, we have a soul in addition to our spirit. Our soul is the link between the spiritual world and the earthly world. It reacts individually to everything perceived. In this emotional world, attraction or reaction are real forces. Thoughts can be pleasant or unpleasant. We react to every cognition with our very own sensations. There are thoughts that we find repulsive, others are attractive. Thus, every person develops his own mental foundation in the course of life. It already begins in childhood. Through family, kindergarten and school, the first beliefs are formed. Later you develop further beliefs through your education, work colleagues, partnership, friends, and of course the media. We develop fundamental beliefs on which everything is built. These beliefs influence everything. They act as a foundation and a filter for all new knowledge you gather. If beliefs are not in harmony with cosmic truth, all subsequent beliefs are built on sand. We live in the age of materialism. Many people consciously or unconsciously adopt the beliefs of rewarded scientists and the media. Let me show you how a representative modern scientist would answer fundamental questions of life. What is the meaning of life? Why are we human beings on planet Earth? Everything follows natural laws and chance. The human being is a higher developed animal. Consciousness is only a consequence of brain processes. There is no particular reason why human beings exist. When the human being dies, his consciousness dies too. After death, everything is over. You live only once. Is there destiny or karma? No, life is just a chain of coincidences. It's a sequence of events arising from matter and its laws. Is the universe a rightful and a fair place? No, the universe is completely unjust. It depends on chance in which family, in which country, as which being, with which genetic predispositions we are born. If we adopt beliefs of modern science, our life has no higher meaning. It's a meaningless random string of events. It is chaotic, haphazard and unjust. In materialism there is neither freedom nor justice. To find answers to the great questions of life, we need spiritual books and sacred writings from all over the world. What unites all religions on planet Earth? There is life after death. Ethics is a central component of every spiritual teaching. The universal genius and clairvoyant Rudolf Steiner founded spiritual science at the beginning of the 20th century. His insights have proven themselves in practical life and have become an indispensable part of everyday life for thousands of people. Rudolf Steiner is the founder of Waldorf education, biodynamic agriculture and anthroposophic medicine. He gained all practical knowledge as a spiritual scientist. He read in Akasha, the cosmic library. He was able to perceive the invisible spiritual spheres into which we enter after death. His books and lectures give logical answers to all important questions of life. How does Steiner describe life after death? And why are spiritual knowledge and spiritual sensations important for your life? The physical body was your spacesuit for your Earth mission. After shedding this shell, your return journey to the spiritual world begins. On your way back, you wander through supersensible spheres. In the first sphere, you process all memories of your last life on Earth. Then you enter the soul world, also called astral world. Your inner world becomes here the outer world. As gravity works on Earth, so antipathy and sympathy works in this sphere as real acting forces of nature. Hatred and prejudice create terrible natural disasters in your astral world. You spend approximately 1/3 of your earthly life in this world. A human being who has reached the age of 60 thus live a felt 20 years in this astral world. Time runs backwards here. Your life begins as an old man and ends as an infant. It's like Benjamin Button. Lifetime runs backwards. Your moral and spiritual convictions developed on Earth determine whether it's light or dark, sociable or lonely in the different regions of the astral world. Human beings without ethics, moral and spiritual convictions live in darkness and loneliness in certain regions of the astral world. Without a physical body, you have to get out of the habit of many things. You must gradually separate yourself from all earthly desires, wishes, and prejudice in order to find entrance into the higher worlds. You will also learn important moral lessons of the last life. Unethical actions will be unmistakably brought you to attention. You will feel in your own body what you have caused in the world. You will feel the effects of your actions. Here arises the deep will to compensate for all the pain you have caused to others. Karma is created. At the end of your journey through the astral world, you put down your astral body and stand at the gate to the spiritual world. Your spiritual body for entering the 7 heavens is built from what you have brought with you. The more you have assimilated of the eternally true and good during your earth mission, the more beautiful and perfect your spiritual body will be. Your trust in the spiritual world is the basis for a healthy spiritual body. This spiritual world is a living organism. On earth we breathe oxygen and eat the fruits of nature. Plants, animals and humans are connected. It is the same in the spiritual world. We can send off poisonous or life-giving thoughts into the mental organism. We can have nutritious treasures or useless garbage in our luggage. Everything you bring will definitely be supplied to the circuit of the spiritual world. In these 7 heavens there are infinite beings that we couldn't perceive during our earth life. Everywhere the phrase ex Deo Nacimo becomes reality. From the spiritual world you are born. The planet Earth and the physical body of human beings were built unimaginably intelligent. The whole universe is a marvel. Everything that exists was developed by spiritual beings who are above us in the hierarchy. Did you develop respect, love and reverence for these beings during your Earth mission? Were you able to build a universal understanding of the essence of all religions? Your answer determines with what consciousness you will walk through the spiritual world. We will only meet Christ and other high beings of the spiritual world consciously if we had established a relationship with them during our Earth mission. The powers we receive from the spiritual hierarchies depend on what we had made of ourselves in the course of our incarnations. We will build the body for our next incarnation with the forces of spiritual beings. Which forces are available to you depends on your last life on earth. The ideal of the human being formed by the gods is unmistakably before us during the time in the spiritual world. We constantly look to this ideal and to all that remained undone during the last incarnation. And in us the longing is building the forces to compensate for what we have done bad, stupid, evil and ugly in previous earth lives.